Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. H.L. Mencken said, "The most dangerous man to any government is the man who is able to think things out without regard to the prevailing superstitions and taboos. Almost inevitably, he comes to the conclusion that the government he lives under is dishonest, insane, and intolerable." Democratic politicians keep telling us that survival of the planet depends on them being elected. According to prominent Democrats like Joe Biden and Alexandria Cortez, we only have until the year 2030 to save the planet from global warming. But there's no indication that politicians of either party can do anything to slow the growth of atmospheric carbon dioxide. It doesn't make any difference which party is in office. But Democrats keep telling us that they're saving the planet with green energy. In 2008, Barack Obama and Joe Biden said they were going to create 5 million new jobs by strategically investing $150 billion over the next 10 years to catalyze private efforts to build a clean energy future. They spent $150 billion to create 5 million new jobs and ended up creating only a few thousand out of the 5 million. Obama and Biden confiscated billions of dollars of taxpayer money and funneled it into green energy companies, almost all of which failed. The most famous of these was Solyndra, which even the Washington Post reported as a scandal. And in a familiar scenario, the Obama administration censored information about the Solyndra scandal ahead of the 2010 election. The last thing Democrats would want would be for voters to have accurate information available at the time they voted. And then, ahead of the 2012 election, Obama and Hillary lied about what happened at Benghazi. But there was one entertaining moment in the 2012 debates, courtesy of Mitt Romney.
Like 50 years worth of breaks into solar and wind, to Solyndra and Fisker and Tesla and Enter1. I mean, I had a friend who said you don't just pick the winners and losers, you pick the losers.
But never mind their failures from the first time around, Joe Biden is back making the same mistakes, only now on a much larger scale. Last year, the Democratic Congress passed a $1 trillion infrastructure law, which included $7.5 billion for expanding access to electric vehicle chargers. And now, just over 1 year later, the electric vehicle market is crashing. Electric car manufacturers in Europe are slowing down production because battery cars have proven too expensive for the middle class, and the supply of lithium for their batteries is too uncertain. Also, consumers see touted fuel savings not materializing. Electric vehicles can be more expensive to fill up on the open road than their petrol and diesel equivalents as the cost of utilities continues to spiral. As Jen Psaki would say, now let's circle back to the beginning of this story. In 2008, Barack Obama said his plan was to make electricity prices skyrocket, which would of course make electric vehicles unaffordable and unattractive.
Under my plan of a cap and trade system, electricity rates would necessarily skyrocket. Even, regardless of what I say about whether coal is good or bad, because I'm capping greenhouse gases, coal-powered plants, natural gas, you name it, whatever the plants were, whatever the industry was, they would have to retrofit their operations. That will cost money. They will pass that money on to consumers.
Now let's circle back to the H.L. Mencken quote. Almost inevitably, he comes to the conclusion that the government he lives under is dishonest, insane, and intolerable. Toto's been pulling back the curtain on this insanity for the past 15 years. You can visit him, Kyrie Caesar, Toki, Upla, and the 4 new puppies on the web at realclimatescience.com.